Welcome to the summary of lesson 15 about rhetoric or khataba and poetry or share. This will be the last lesson of our course on logic. So before we start, let's have a short supplication. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad. Allahumma akhrijna min zulumatil wahm وأكرمنا بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين والحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد. So we have already covered 13 lessons. And just last session, we talked about fallacy or mughalita. So this time, let's have a look at rhetoric or khataba and poetry or share. The key idea here is that rhetoric and poetry are two skills connected with persuasion and inspiration. They are less about certainty than proof, but they are important in public communication. Rhetoric is especially useful for teachers, preachers, and socio-political leaders. Now, what is rhetoric? By rhetoric, we mean persuasive speech or writing that convinces people without necessarily producing certainty or yaqeen. It should be noted that rhetoric includes both spoken discourse and persuasive writing. Now, there are two main parts of rhetoric. One is the pillar or the umud, meaning the propositions or premises used to support the message. And we have also artificial proof or a'wan. We mean supporting external features that strengthen persuasion, such as the speaker's reputation, clothing, facial expression, gestures, voice, accent, and eloquence. Now, when we talk about rhetorical composition, there are three forms. One is what we call syllogism or chaos, which is often used but it only needs to appear persuasive. The other one is analogy, what we call as tamthil, which is commonly used to compare one case with another. And the other one is induction or istiqra, that is which is used less often and usually incomplete and not certainty producing. So in rhetoric, the goal is persuasion, to convince the listener or the reader, not strict demonstration. Now, there are 10 conditions of an accomplished orator. So these conditions must be met if you want to be an accomplished speaker or orator. One is broad knowledge of the subject. Second, to use analogy and storytelling for ordinary audiences. Number three, to understand psychology, society, customs, and culture. Number four, know the needs of the audience. Number five, to use poems in our context we call bayuk or parahil, stories and proverbs effectively. Number six, use clear, beautiful language and to avoid long, ambiguous sentences. To use similes and metaphors well. Number seven is to organize the speech into claim, proof, and clear stages. That is prelude, main exposition, and then conclusion. And number eight, to vary the tone of voice and to avoid monotony. And number six, to pay attention to appearance, place, posture, and audience conditions. And number 10, to use colors, lights, melody, and decoration appropriately when suitable. Now, let's proceed to poetry. By poetry, we are referring to an inspiring discourse composed of melodious, rhythmic, and rhyming words. So there are different types. One is prosodic, that is classical poetry, which is based on rhyme, rhythm, and equal hemistich. And we have also Aristotelian or logical poetry, which is based on inspiration and imaginative effect. And both together, prosodic and Aristotelian, a poem that is rhythmic, rhymed, and at the same time inspiring. Now, what are the benefits of poetry using in when we use it in writing or in speech? One, it inspires courage in soldiers and fighters as your audience. Number two, it steers emotions in religious, political, and social causes. Number three, praises noble people and criticizes enemies or wrongdoers. Number four, it creates joy in times of celebration. And number five, it deepens sorrow in times of mourning. And number six, it arouses romantic or emotional imagination in lyrics. And number seven, it encourages moral behavior and warns against wrongdoing. Okay, so let's have a quick comparison of rhetoric and poetry. The main aim of rhetoric is persuasion, whereas poetry is inspiration. And the main tool of rhetoric is convincing language, whereas poetry uses imaginative language. Now, the typical effect of rhetoric is agreement, whereas poetry, it steers emotion. And the common use of rhetoric is in speeches and essays, whereas in poems and lyrical expression as to the case of poetry. Okay, so for our lessons activities, let's take a look at these review questions. One, what is meant by rhetoric and poetry? Number two, what are the two subjects of rhetoric? Number three, what makes an accomplished orator? And number four, what are the benefits of poetry? And to delve deep or deeper into the topic, here is the practical exercise instruction for you. Prepare a short persuasive speech using the conditions of rhetoric. Then identify one poem and explain how it influences feelings. Okay, so thank you so much and see you in a different course discussion that we will have.